So, you'd asked me the question about how life is going to look after this is over. And I talked about the importance of supporting basic science and the importance of agriculture. I think there's going to be some changes in agriculture.
What is that? What changes do you think?
Well, I think, a couple of things that I see changed as a result of, working our way through this pandemic. We talked about one, labor availability. We bring a lot of labor in to manage our farms. So immigration challenges and just movement of people is something that's top of mind. I think one of the ramifications of that is it's going to encourage even more investment in automation and robotics on the farm. We're going to have to be more creative on how we harvest, how we produce and process food. And I think it's going to put even more focus on phytosanitary measures, how we package, how we distribute. I think those are going to be top of mind for consumers and, will be both areas of challenge, but also a business opportunity as we go forward.
As you say that with the business opportunity, the thing that I think is really important is cities preparing for starting back up, because I think that we're going to have, in my opinion, the way that the containment will end up rolling out is that cities on their own regions will say, hey, we've got it pretty well contained. We're going to start opening up. So whichever cities make the changes that they need to allow manufacturing and other types of work to come, we're going to reshore a lot of things. And my hope is that St. Louis becomes not only the biotech hub, the plant hub, but the drone hub. I hope that we change the rules, whatever we need to do to make it as valuable as possible to be in this place making agricultural drones. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think the robotics and the automation will be big. I think the phytosanitary, whether it's assays, screens, packaging, will be top of mind. I think the other thing to think about longer term is, I think we will see more of a shift coming out of this in how people eat. And so as a result of that, I don't know how you spent a lot of your time, but I've probably done more cooking in the last 2 months than I have in the last few years. And, I think we're going to see pattern changes in terms of what crops we will grow, what foods people will eat, how those foods will be prepared and processed. So that's, again, both going to be an opportunity and a challenge. I think the other thing that we'll see influencing, and I'll talk about it through the agriculture and the rural lens, the need to be connected going through this crisis has been top of mind for everybody, and social media has played a huge role in that. There's a large part of the U.S. and rural America that still doesn't have high-speed internet and still doesn't have the connectivity that we're going to need. And I think that's going to put an additional focus on as we think about rebuilding our infrastructure. I think that's going to be very important and top of mind as we think about the things we need to do for the future.
Oh, 100%. And I was saying this the other day on Twitter. Not only the rural one is a huge one, and that one's a really difficult problem to solve because it takes a lot of infrastructure for few people, but also in the cities, the city that has the most access to fiber internet to super high speed will have a huge incentive for people to move there, to have their houses there, because if you have another pandemic and you're locked in, you're going to want to be able to use way more technology than what we're even using right now. Like just webcams on computers won't be what we're doing. In 5 years, we'll have have you ever tried a virtual reality headset?
Absolutely.
There is no reason by the time we have the next pandemic that people aren't doing work virtually with those on, because it's so much more encompassing of an experience. You could do so much more, but you can't do it unless you have high-speed internet. So my hope is this is a call to cities, people that are organizing it, to say, do what it takes to get fiber everywhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, whether it's broadly how we communicate, how we do business, how we procure our goods and services, and frankly, and probably most important from a rural perspective, how we deliver healthcare. The various telemedical connections that are, could and should be available are going to be right at the top of the list. So I see all of those being.
Have you seen a doc doing teledoc yet?
Oh yeah,
It's awesome. It's like the best thing that's. My wife has a physical therapy business, and she went to doing virtual. She now is consulting with people that are having pain when they're running. She just says, take a video from this angle, from a video from that angle, ship it to me. I can analyze it. We'll get on the phone and we can fix your running problem. And this has got to be happening all over the country right now. And
we're going to see an explosion of sensors, diagnostic kits, devices that do a variety of monitoring. So, those are all going to be accelerated. Both in terms of their importance, but also, I think, this has been a period of rapid adoption, probably by a lot of new users, and so we will have trained a new component of the of our population to expect and demand these kind of services. So I think that's across agriculture, food production, healthcare, a broad impact.
Well, what do you think? I mean, I think one of the ways that innovation is already happening faster is we've knocked down regulation. And there may be some level of regulation that you have to have, but this might be a good time for us to have a brush fire and see what grows back as necessary.
Well, I'm always a fan of that. I mean, it's always the balance between, the protection you provide versus the cost and the speed. And, I think what's important is that all of that gets re-examined, because, both are important, and we just need to make sure we're at the right middle ground to do both.